Welcome back to the lab. Pretty good news here from last weekend's NZ Superlap Series 22-23 final at Hampton Downs. Didn't P1, tried, got close, 0.69 of a second off the pace on 4-year-old tyres from the first session straight off the trailer with no tuning. So, hey, pretty good. Happy with that. P3 for the round by 0.08 of a second, which is a car length essentially. I said somewhere on the internet, I said it was 9 centimetres, but my math was wrong. I double checked that today. No, it's a car length, it's 5.4 metres. Like I say, first session, so basically first lap was a 1:11 or something. That was just to put a time on the board and don't wreck the car. Second lap was a 1:08.8, I think it was, which is not bad, showing good promise. Made a hash of the entry to turn one at the end of that lap, started the next lap very poorly, down on speed and all that sort of carry on. Did a 1:10 and then banged out a 1:08.430, I think it was. Little bit of traffic, a little bit of an early lift and change of line and stuff like that, but it wasn't too terrible. I don't think it did all that much damage, but I think the sevens that I was talking about are there. We've just got to get things lined up nicely for it to happen. So second session, I put a little bit more wing in the back of the car to try and get some more downforce, just make it feel a little bit more settled in a couple of the corners, which worked. I knew the payoff would be there'd be a touch more drag, so I got Kelvin, who was helping me, Kelvin from the car tuning company. He'll do a video too, it'll be better than this probably. We bumped up the rev limit in fifth gear, so it wouldn't be buzzing so hard on the rev limiter the whole way along, and get a little bit more pace to make up for the drag that we'll suffer elsewhere. Unfortunately, that tune didn't stick. I think the file was corrupted when we put it into the ECU. Found out at the last minute, so we pulled that and we put the original tune back in, so consequently 0.3 of a second slower in that session. We did a 1:08.7, I think it was. Still, I mean, that's a fast time. It's the 1:08.4 was a 1.5 second improvement on our PB at that track, with very little use of the car in between over the last 12 months. Not a heck of a lot of use, especially on that track. I think I've done a couple of sessions there and that's that. So overall, happy. Look, the car's behind us there, it's fine. It's looking ridiculous as it always does, but it's fine. It's suffered less damage there than what it did at the thingy at Pukekohe that you all know about. That everyone thought they had to tell me how I had to deal with that because you're all good like that. I thought I'd hurt the car at the end of the second session. I just wasn't confident that it was okay and it was fine to keep running it for the weekend. And as it turns out, it was fine. It would have been absolutely fine. It wouldn't have caused any issues at all. But hey, that's just a call I made. So we didn't run on the Saturday. I expected it to be raining. It was wet for the first session on the Saturday. So I had to sleep in anyway and went up there, did a lunchtime parade lap thing, photo op, do flicky. And yeah, let's put a still in here. And then the prize giving, which was all really good, heavily supported by some opposition to one of our main sponsors. So, yeah, I won't be sharing too many of those pictures on our Facebook page, just the conflict thing there. But it was good to bomb the prize giving with a Kiwi company supporting some Kiwi races. So that was, I enjoyed that. I like that sort of thing, just a bit of tongue in cheek. It was good fun. Overall, whole season, pretty good. Like, it's not perfect. It's difficult to have a perfect season, especially when you're running something like this and on a low budget and all those things, all the other factors involved, you know. It's so pretty happy overall. Do appreciate the support from my sponsors, Link and Z1 and HGT and Repco, Nexon Tyres, etc. There's a few more, but I'll forget some and then I'll get in trouble because I've named everyone except for one. Plans are to put the panels back on, which are just over my shoulder there, that were taken off underneath the car, just double check everything underneath the car. get them back on, put some fuel in it, put it on trailer, take it to Hampton Downs again next weekend coming up for GTR Fest. Haven't had too much luck with those Chrome and GTR Fests and things like that. It tends to be a bit of bad luck there, so hopefully we'll not suffer that. I'm picking if we get a nice day and usually not too much traffic in the high horsepower sessions, and we get a 10, maybe 15 minute session, we might get enough temp in the tyres. Now that they're 4 years old, they take a bit of work to get them going properly. No discredit to them, they've done so well. We'll put some new ones on before next season. But hopefully we'll be able to get out there and we'll get a 7 out of it, because I reckon it'll do it. We were not far off it. A couple of things, you'll see the fast lap, and you'll see, oh yep, there's a bit of improvement to be made there. I need to pull back the boost in second gear a little bit when the track's not really up to temp, because it just bakes up the tyres a bit too easily if you get a bit heavy right foot, which it can be sometimes. Look, first time driving the car with the flat shifting, with the clutchless shifting all set up, partially set up, an initial tune set up, put in there by one of the guys at Link, who knows who he is, thanks very much. It's not the final, it's not perfect. It's he threw some numbers at the car, ran it up on the hoist, and it was pretty good, and I took it to track, and I'm supposed to send him the logs, and we'll fiddle with it from there and make it more better. It's kind of like enough to make it run, but not perfect, so that's where it's at. So if you think some of the, I mean, upshifts are basically, I think they're perfect. Some of the downshifts are maybe just a little bit clunky, but that's just, you set it up, you carry on from there. We've done the first step, we'll do 2, 3, 4 more steps, and it should be awesome. Makes the car just so much better to drive. You might see I'm changing gear over, what is it, turn 3, 4, from third to fourth, and it just doesn't even unsettle it at all, just clunking your next gear and carry on. Well, not even clunk, it just goes to the next gear. You couldn't do that before clutching. The car would just unsettle and you'd just wash out wide. It was horrid. So the difference in improvement, the improvement in performance rather, from clutching and shifting with the sequential box to clutchless shifting is almost as big a leap as what it was going from the H pattern Navara Ute gearbox into the sequential. Just the shifting side of it, ignore the ratios. That's a huge thing in itself, getting the ratios right. So yeah, if you're thinking about it, Hyundai, do it. It's good. It's real good. All right, I'll throw up some footage. I'll show you leaving the pits on the outlap, and you'll see just how slippery 4-year-old semi-slick tyres are on a cold, damp track when you've got mega horsepower and quite a light car. I don't think there was any malice intended. I think some people will say some things without thinking it through, but somebody was trying to tell me that until I've driven a car on cold slicks, I have no idea what it's like. Well, yeah, I do. And I mean, even aside from that, I've been involved with tyres and stuff for 30 years, so it was kind of an arrogant thing to say, to be fair, but I'm sure he didn't mean it that way. So, looking forward to next season, where we will go faster, more faster. Thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.